This week we're going to be drawing a nose. I have one here that I have drawn for you, and it is mostly about shading. So what I suggest you do, once you've got the basic shape of the nose, you can freeze the video and just look at where the shading areas are to help you put the shading in. Mostly it's going to be about very soft techniques using various different things to blend with. You can have a tissue, you can have this blending thing here which can help you blend in areas to a very soft amount, or you could use a cotton wool bud, and I'm going to be using a variety of different pencils for this and a putty rubber. So one of the ways to think about a nose is to think about a cone. And you see here I've drawn just a very simple cone with the light coming down the centre here. There is a tonal value around the outside here, so you can see that the light is coming from this side and it's darker on here. So a nose is really very much like a cone shape. Of course it would be wider up here, it wouldn't go to a point, and there are a few wiggles around here to get the nostrils in. But apart from that, it's a very similar shape. We are going to start off with a circle. Just draw it very lightly. I'm using an HB pencil here. Then put a line through the centre like that, with the same amount of distance here as here, and then two smaller lines like that. Remember, do it very lightly because you'll be wanting to rub this out. That will be the centre of the nose. There, and this will be the bridge of the nose, the edge of the nose, and so take those up, that goes up, and then just curve it out very slightly at the top. This is just a standard nose. So from here to the bottom of those little lines, you need to draw a very light line, and then you do it again on the other side there. And then with these, you're going to just want to take out some of those lines so that they aren't very easy to see, but just enough. If you get your putty rubber and just roll it up and down over there, you see I can still see that, but it is not so dark. So from here, we're going to take the nostril up to this point here, and it's going to come down into that curve. And we do the same here, into this curve here. Still using an HB pencil. And then from these points, that's going to just curl around under there and curl around under there. You're wanting to make it as symmetrical as possible. From this point, you're going to go up to there, and at the same place there. This is the time to make sure that you have got everything in the right place as much as possible. So if I just edge my ruler on the edge of the paper, I can see that those are at the same height, and I can see that bottom bit's at the same height. If I put this down the centre of the nose, I can see that that is pretty much the same as that. So it's pretty symmetrical, but now is the time to change it if you want to. Of course, people's noses aren't completely symmetrical all the time. Now, if you were drawing eyes, this is the point where they would be coming up from. So obviously we're doing a face that is a nose that is going to be sitting in a face. So those would be your points where the eyes would start, and the eyes would be that wide, okay, so they have the same width. So that's where your eyes would go if you were going to put them in. I'm not going to put them in, but I'm just going to gently put them in there to show you. And then of course we will be doing the nose, the underneath of the nose as well. So that just shows you some of the proportions, but we're not going to need that. So at the moment, I'm just going to take that out with my putty rubber, because we don't want those lines and we don't want that circle or any of that. And then I'm going to very quickly put in some shading with my HB pencil. Now I'm going to continue using a variety of different pencils to build up the different tones and shadows where they are in the nose. If you remember from the other one, we did the light coming from the left, and we're going to do a similar thing on this one too. So you'll see here I've been using this blending tool, which can be very useful for something like this, so you can get into very small details and areas, and it makes it nice and smooth. My nose has got quite flared nostrils, so I've been using just an HB and a 2B here, and I am shading it very, very gently, building it up as I go. It's much easier to take it slowly and build it up gently than to go in too heavily and then have a problem of taking the stuff out. So just take your time. So I've got a good basis now here for the nose, and I'm going to start putting in some bits that are slightly darker and then taking out more with the rubber. So I'm going into the values a little bit darker and lighter. So I've got myself here a 5B pencil. Now this will, you'll probably be able to see, just a little bit darker. There are hardly any lines within a nose. It is just something, the skin protruding back out and then back in again onto the face. So you don't really want to have any lines. So that's why when I'm shading, I'm often going from the skin here that should be on the cheek into the nose here as one thing. There is no hard line down the edge. The only place where you might get a real edge sharp bit is just on that bit of the nostril there, which is why I'm using my 5B pencil there. I'm going to make it slightly darker on this side. If you remember, I said that the light is coming slightly from the left, however that means that it would be on the right, slightly darker. So you see I've just put in a few highlights there with the putty rubber. I'm just smoothing them in so they're not harsh. As I say, you can look at the finished drawing that I have and you can have a look really closely where I've put the highlights and the darker bits to try and get the right shape and lighting. You'll notice I just put a little indication of the lip because obviously the nose needs to be connected to other bits of the face. You might want to do more than one just to get the whole feel of how everything works. So much easier with putty rubber if you've got one. Something that you can just keep going and going and going with. Okay, so there we have a nose, and hopefully you will be able to do something like that, and I look forward to seeing what you get up to.